to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm M. I'm M. I'm M. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm M. I'm M. I'm M. I'm M. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. I'm M. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome. I'm M. Welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm in. Welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm in. Welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm in. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm in. 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 I'm in. Who you with, Kirk, dog? Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, dog. I'm in. Who you with, Kirk, dog? I'm back in the house feeling good. I hope y'all had a great time. I know it's been a while, but we are back live. I want to thank everyone for understanding, for me to have to take some time off to clear my head a little bit. But we back in the saddle now. We are live. You can live chat with us in the chat room, regardless of which platform you're on. Welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, DLive, where else? And YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube is in the house. So welcome everyone on the show. You can actually speak live, chat live with us in the chat room. Tonight, we're gonna talk about a couple of stories that is dear to my heart. Matter of fact, before I do that, want to shout out to Junior Zeno, the newly elected city council that was elected, sworn in last week in Grand Prairie. He gave me a call today. I appreciate you, brother. He's checking his schedule. Him and Kurt both. They're gonna come on the show soon, and let y'all know how much they appreciate y'all. So I definitely appreciate it. But I'm back in the house tonight. So I see y'all coming in. You can live chat with me. Yes, we are live. So, but I appreciate y'all for watching the replays and everything. And also, welcome to the show, T-Cap. Thank you for always supporting the show. Yes, we are back. Yeah, we back. I needed that break. It was good. It was great. Was able to clear my mind a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you, my wife, she had actually made arrangement because she knew how I was feeling. She was like, you know what? We need to clear your mind. We need to get away from the house for a while. So we went to San Antonio. And while in San Antonio, and I do not have her card in front of me, but when I tell y'all about the history that is being made all across this world, the power of voting is very important. I had the opportunity on Saturday to meet, I guess it was last November, the city of San Antonio, the residents of San Antonio, they went to the poll and they let their voice be heard. Two things that took place down in San Antonio. First, they elected their first openly gay councilman, which is wonderful. Yes, I know we're in Gay Pride Month, but the people are waiting for a change. A change is always good.
If you're used to the same old thing, you're going to get the same results. So a change is good. Then on top of that, um, I had the opportunity to meet the first Black female constable that was selected last November um, in San Antonio. And I had a chance to talk to her. And I just said, ma'am, I was told you are the first Black female constable in San Antonio. She said, yes. I said, look, I appreciate you. I said, one thing about it, people don't understand the power of getting out and voting and making a change when these elected officials are not doing what they should be doing. So talking with her, she was like, wow. And she immediately handed me her card and she said, look, I want to come on your show. So we're going to arrange that with her also, for the simple fact, this sister, the first Black constable of San Antonio, and it was wonderful to be able to get to meet her. I'm like, all this history that is going around with us, that is around us today in the midst of a pandemic, is powerful. Now, y'all, some of you may not care about it, but for me, I can see the changes that are going on. So I'm I'm happy about that this sister won. Never met her, but when I told her how I encourage people to get out and vote all the time, and she was like, you know what? Take my card, email me. Let's set up a time because voting does make a difference. Just like T. Cal just said, voting can make a difference. It does make a difference. Like I said, in Texas, we have some crucial election coming up next year. Greg Abbott up for re-election. Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, Sid Miller, who is now talking about running for possible governor. No, we need to get them out, send them packing. That's what we need to do. So, um, yes, I just said that it was an openly uh, gentleman that was selected also, and I apologize. I wasn't intending to talk about that tonight, and I don't have a name in front of me right now, but it was a powerful movement. When people come together to vote, we can make a difference. And that's the best thing about it. We can make a difference, but also we need to hold our elected officials accountable. We need to hold them accountable for their action and make sure they understand exactly how we feel as the people, because without us, they wouldn't be in office. But what we have to do, these naysayers, the ones that feel like your voting don't count, we need to get out and change that mindset and get out and vote. So that's what we need to do. Um, Greg Abbott, yes, that is a change. Is what we definitely need to get him out of office, without a doubt. We need to get him gone. And let me tell you something else also. While I'm talking about Greg Abbott, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, and I probably mention this again, please do not be confused about Hanfine that is running for governor, because here in the Metroplex, he don't talk. He got billboards lined up from San Antonio all the way to Austin. And what he's talking about, let's stop voter fraud. So we don't need him in office also. So Hanfine, you need to pull out the race and go sit down somewhere. I know I did not come here tonight to talk about all of this, but I'm speaking my mind. I've been having a lot built up on me, so I'm speaking my mind. Uh, so, sorry, the change we need to see, yes. So definitely we need to see these changes. It get me too, T-Cal. Spell check, I don't know. Sometimes I think my phone is just with the spell checks. So tonight, this is what we're going to talk about tonight, and we're going to hit back on Greg a little bit later. Johnny Bolton, Johnny Lorenzo Bolton, we're going to talk about his case. I don't know if any of you heard about it, but we're going to talk about him tonight. The brother was killed in Cobb County. Well, it wasn't in Cobb County. It was Samir, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. We talked about this city before. But a Cobb County sheriff officer shot and killed them on a no knock warrant. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Then we have Collin County grand jury decide they do not want to press charges against the detention officers in the Marvin Scott death. Then we're going to talk about old Greg Abbott, his special session that is set for July the 8th. Need to pay attention to this for the simple fact he's trying to change some things that's going to affect our voting rights. He's trying to do a lot of different things within it that no matter who you are, it's going to affect you in one way or another, either for the good or for the bad. So we have to be able to pay attention to this. And don't get it twisted, because reason why Greg Abbott is trying to change all of this, because he has so many people coming out wanting to run against him for his re-election. So please do not get it twisted. It's a reason behind this, the reason why Greg Abbott is trying to change these. So we'll talk about that. Then Christopher Bailey. Yeah. Unfortunately, he may be another, and I hate to say it, but treated just like Rodney King was allegedly beat by 7 LA County sheriff. So we're going to talk about that also. And people say, why do I talk about race so much? When you hear and when you open your eyes up to see what's in front of you, you don't have a choice but to talk about it. Either you're going to be someone to try to solve it, or you're going to end up being somebody who just stand by and look, watch it happen, as if nothing is wrong. So yeah, we need to talk about it. Definitely need to talk about it. So man, I know that's a long intro, but hey, I'm back. And let me say this also. If you are on my personal page on Facebook, please take the time, go to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. You can live chat with us on that page, and I can display your message while you're on that page. So definitely take the time to do that. You may hear a story that we're talking about, or you may want to discuss something else that is going on. But if you take the time out and put Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog, and it should pop up, and you can live chat with us in the chat room, and I can be able to display your message at the same time. So Johnny Lorenzo Bolton. This incident actually happened last year. I believe it was December the 17th of last year, 9 months after Breonna Taylor incident. So in Samir, Georgia, state agents have released the name that investigators said was killed as a joint task force and SWAT team executed a no-knock warrant in Cobb County on Thursday, which was last year, December the 17th. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation identified the deceased as 49-year-old Johnny Bolton. The agent reported that his death occurred during this serving of the narcotic warrant and smeared by the Marietta Cobb smear organized crime task force agent and members of the Cobb County Sheriff Office SWAT team. During entry into the residence, a SWAT team member discharged his firearm at an occupant of the apartment was struck. Now here's the key. They did a no-knock warrant. They bust the door down. As they bust the door down, Bolton is asleep on the couch. Or laying on the couch or sleep on the couch, whichever one it may have been. But of course, if you are laying on the couch, sleep on the couch, you in your home, you're immediately going to jump up to try to figure out what's going on. Bolton jumped up off the couch. They shot him twice in the chest. Now here's the problem. It's a no-knock warrant. A no-knock warrant. But here's the other problem. His name was not even on the warrant. Same way they did Breonna Taylor. His name was not on the warrant. They was not even looking for him. But because he jumped up off the couch, they shot and killed him. What is a person supposed to do if someone breaking into your home? You just gonna sit there or lay there until they come in and do what you want until they do what they want to do? No. You're gonna get up and figure out what's going on. So this brother lost his life for nothing. And the Cobb County District Attorney Office said they're still investigating it, as it does with all shooting by police, plan to present the case to the grand jury. How much longer do you need? How much longer do you need? Because the thing is, this man is dead. You break in this apartment, you shoot this man, and it wasn't even the person you was looking for. And according to this, now I'm gonna go back because I'm seeing a different story. The officers asked for a no-knock warrant, which allowed police to enter without announcing themselves. He cited the criminal history of people known to associate with the suspected drug dealer at the apartment and previous reported of guns. Welcome to the show, Marcellus Smith said. Another no-knock warrant death. Get them out. This got to stop. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. They have to be held accountable. Have to be. And Greenmeyer said the warrant was based on false and outdated information. False and outdated information. And that the apartment was resident with no drug sales happening there. Bolton's name does not appear in the warrant paperwork. Greenmeyer said witness told him Bolton was laying on the couch with his eyes closed, possibly sleeping. When officer crashed through the door, he stood and was shot. Witness also said officer didn't immediately provide first aid, but instead handcuffed Bolton. The limited information available to the family now does not make this look like a justified shooting, said the letter accompanying the draft lawsuit. About 2 weeks after the shooting, police got additional arrest warrant for the alleged dealer, who had already been arrested in the raid on the townhouse, and his brother saying the pair had access to a locked closet in the apartment where a backpack containing drugs was found. Police also got arrest warrant for 2 women and a man who were in the apartment with Bolton. The warrant charged all 3 with possession of a gun by a felon after one gun was found in the kitchen and another in the bedroom. The man also had a backpack containing cocaine, marijuana, methamphetamine. Daphne Bolton wanted to know why her brother was shot and want the officer fired and charged. She also want no knock warrant banned. So this dude probably, I don't know what the situation was. He probably just visiting somebody, not knowing, you got to know who you're around, not knowing what was going on or whatever. But here it is. They came in shooting. They wanted to be the judge and the jury. And that's basically what happened. They killed this brother unarmed just because somebody crashed through the door and he jumped up and they shot him, which is crazy. Very crazy. At some point, enough have to be enough. This is very crazy. We're going to come on back to Texas real quick because I don't know. Now, Marvin Scott case was, his autopsy said a murder. He was murdered. But a grand jury has declined to indict the 8 detention officers who were fired following the death of Marvin Scott III inside the Collin County jail on March 14. The possible charges could have ranged from misdemeanor assault to murder. Scott family and civil rights group had been demanding criminal charges against the former jailers during protests in the month since the 26-year-old man died. The grand jury also took the rare step of issuing a statement which read, after careful consideration of the applicable law and all the relevant facts, we find that no probable cause exists to charge any person with a criminal offense related to the death of Mr. Scott. Accordingly, we have issued a no bill for each of the 8 detention officers involved. We would like to extend our deepest sympathy to the family and friends of Mr. Scott for the terrible loss you have suffered. We hope you can someday find peace. Scott died after at least 10 hours in custody. He was arrested for marijuana possession after he was found acting erratically in the parking lot of an Allen Outlet Mall. They believe he was suffering a mental health crisis, but cleared by a doctor to be jailed. His family and attorney watched jail security video, which they call horrific, and say it showed the officer not helping Scott. A medical examiner ruled Scott's death a homicide as a result of the stress from schizophrenia and restraint or struggle with law enforcement. Legal experts say that type of ruling determined criminal liability. So, the grand jury statement goes on to say, we are therefore recommending that a work group convene as soon as particular to study the event of March 14th for a lesson learned in an effort to avoid any similar future tragedy. We recommend that this work group consist of diverse group of Collin County community leader, criminal justice, and law enforcement stakeholder, local hospital and mental health providers. The goal of this work group should be finding the best solution for the treatment of individuals with mental illness who come in contact with the criminal justice system. Um, so the thing is, when people talk about defunding the police and provide service for people that is suffering from mental health, um, let's do that. Instead, uh, the piece of a governor that we have choose to want to build a wall. Let's provide money for mental health. Must remember, we're still in a pandemic. Now, a lot of people that is not from DFW area may not know anything about Allen or Collin County. Collin County is not friendly to everybody. Never have been. But a lot of changes have came to Collin County because it's becoming more diverse now. But just because the city is becoming more diverse doesn't mean they laws or their elected officials or even their police department are becoming more diverse. So Collin County is not for everybody. I'm just saying, some things need to change. That's why I talk so much about getting out and voting. We have to vote. That's the only way we're going to make a change in this world. Letting our voice be heard and vote. Now, you tase someone, which tasing can cause your heart to run rapid. Now, also you mace someone, and then you put a spit mask over them that limit their breathing. Then you put them in a cell with the spit mask on, and after being tased, and you expect for them to be okay. You're right. Marcella said, if you want to build anything, let's build a relationship for each other's sake. Let's love each other as ourselves. You're exactly right. You're right. But some people don't want to do that because they feel like they better than someone else. They better than someone of a different race. They superior over that person. But instead of treating someone the same way you want to be treated, they want to talk down to you, treat you bad, mistreat you. Whatever you think of, they want to do it to make themselves look good. But what people have to realize, no matter what we do in this lifetime, when our day comes, we're going to be judged about all of this, about what we do. That you love someone. When you seen someone need food, that you feed them. Or someone that was thirsty, that you give them a drink. See somebody who needs shoes and clothes, that you clothe them. See, the thing is, people don't want to think about the small things. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out here that run scams that feel like make you feel bad and they want you to help them. But even they will be held accountable when they meet their maker. So for the Scott family, praying for y'all. I know it's hard with dealing with Collin County. It's very hard dealing with them. But hopefully that's another thing why we should be getting out and voting. Because if I don't know anything about the grand jury, but if you're not registered to vote, or if you don't vote, you may never get that opportunity. I'm just saying. You got to be registered. Have to get out and vote. You too, when they come up to select new grand jury, you will have that opportunity if they send you the notice to be on the grand jury. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of people try to get out of voting. And when you do that, these are the results that we get. These are the results. Greg Abbott. Yeah, Greg Abbott. I'm telling y'all, we need to make sure we get this man out of office. We need to make sure we vote him out of office. For the simple fact, he called the special session. I believe it's July I put the date on the Western. July the 8th. And Texas piece of a governor, Greg Abbott, is calling lawmaker back to Austin on July the 8th for a special legislation session where a controversial election legislation Democrats have decried as voter suppression is expected to be back on the agenda. Democrat blocked a sweeping election bill in the final hour of the legislation session last month by staging a rare walkout and breaking quorum. Abbott, who had told lawmaker the legislation was one of his top priority, and I'm sorry, my phone went off trying to make sure it don't hear it. Said it was one of his top priority, furious and vowed to force lawmakers back to Austin for special session. The governor office did not confirm that the July the 8th session would include election legislation, but Abbott had previously said he planned to call 2 sessions. One focused on election and bail reform, followed by a second session in September, October, focused on redistricting and allocating federal coronavirus fund throughout the state. So while they're in the process of trying to set this up, on one of the fact that this election, what we got to be concerned about is called the Senate Bill 7. And with the Senate Bill 7, one thing that goes on with that, they want to eliminate rally to the polls, which is done by a lot of Black churches. They want to make it harder for you to vote. I believe in Houston, if they pass that bill, they're going to close a lot of polling locations down in the minority sector of Houston. Now, all of this is coming about only because Trump lost. That's when Trump talked about voter fraud. They talked about this, but it wasn't proven. And the ones that was proven was people that voted for Trump twice or multiple times. Now, I mentioned earlier Huffine, who is running for Texas governor against Greg Abbott. Now, by traveling from San Antonio back to Dallas, he have all type of billboards up talking about stop voter fraud. Stop voter fraud. Same thing Trump said. Same thing Greg Abbott said. That's why he's trying to change it. But please remember, I believe it was last month when we talked about this group that came together how to change how to do modern day voter suppression, where they can change the laws and nobody won't pay attention to it. I believe Georgia was one of those states that did it, and several other ones. So Texas is trying to do the same thing. So what we need to do here in Texas is make sure we vote them out, and please do not re-elect folks that actually have that same mind though, because the whole thing is about the election. It should be fair for everybody. Everybody should be fair enough to vote. Last year during the election, Greg Abbott wanted to have one ballot drop-off place in every county. Now the problem is if you on the north side of Dallas and are you on the south side of Dallas, and if it's up on the north side, how will you get there if you don't have no transportation? Or if you in Tarrant County and the drop-off place is way on the west side of Tarrant County, and you don't have transportation, but you located on the east side of Tarrant County. So how would it get there? So these are the type of games that he's been playing. That's the reason why we need to vote him out. Voting should be fair for everyone. I don't care who you are. It's our right to vote. It's definitely our right to vote. But they trying to make it hard for us to vote. And because their candidate laws, they don't want to make it that easy for us to vote. That's a modern day voter suppression. That's the reason why we need leaders that is going to be willing to be fair for everyone and to be fair and to be for everyone, not just one group of folks. We seen what Greg Abbott done when the pandemic started last year. Little Becky here in Dallas ended up opening up her shop. He signed an executive order that everybody closed down. She violated that order. Well, as soon as she went to jail, he wanted to change his order to get her out of jail. Then Dan Patrick allegedly paid her fine, and he changed his executive order where the Supreme Court would get her out of jail. Well, guess what? When the two young ladies down in I believe in McAllen or Laredo did the same thing before little Becky did, guess what? You didn't hear anything about it. But you saying you for everybody. No, you're not. Stop lying. That's why it's time to get you out of office. It's time for you to go. We will vote you out. That's why so many different Republicans are coming out and wanting to run against him. And to be honest with you, I don't trust none of them because they've been riding on Trump's coattail this whole time. And now you want to run the greatest state in the world, Texas. Nope. Not on my watch. It's time for you to go. And it's time for the rest of them to go. And as for Hoffine, I'm sorry. Yeah, you own car dealerships. You used to be in politics in Arlington, but unfortunately, you're not going to be able to run Texas because you had that same mentality that you want to stop voter fraud. What voter fraud? Show me the voter frauds. No, the voter frauds would be, we're going to make sure you're not elected also. So as long as I'm on here and have a voice, I'm gonna keep saying it. You might well go on and back out because you're not going to be able to go far either. And if you want to come on the show and explain why you saying voter fraud, but you don't have the billboards up in the metroplex, at least I haven't seen them, but I seen them driving down 35 from San Antonio to Austin. Matter of fact, from San Antonio to Waco. But at the same time, you want us to vote for you for what? And you're using the same terms that Trump have used, voter fraud. Tell us what your policy is. How are you going to be for everyone and not just for a certain group of people? That's what I want to know. I don't want to hear about voter fraud because you can't prove voter fraud. And because you can't prove it, why are you talking about it? But you're trying to use the scare tactic to be able to get elected, but that's not going to work. And then Greg Abbott trying to use the wall to get reelected. Well, guess what? That's not going to work because the thing is, as long as you've been in office, you had every opportunity to do something about the border, but you refused to do anything. But now that you're riding on the coattail of Trump, guess what? Now you want to talk about the border wall and feel like that's going to get you elected, just like Trump got elected talking about the border wall the first time. But people woke up and realized he was full of BS, and they didn't fall for the okie-doke the second time. So it didn't make a difference about the border wall. So, Greg, it's time for you to go. Dan Patrick, it's time for you to go because you've done some foul stuff in Texas also. You end up talking about you're going to use your campaign fund to pay $1 million for any fraud that was found. What did you pay? I believe it was Philadelphia. Did you pay them for the fraud that was found out in Pennsylvania? So did you pay them the $1 million? I believe it was 2 fraud out there where one guy paid, voted twice, one for his deceased mother, tried to vote for his deceased mother-in-law, and come to find out they had a block on it where it wouldn't go through. So you talking about paying for, and they was voting for Trump. So did you pay that money out? So then you're talking about the guy, I forgot what state it was, that his missing wife voted. And he been charged with her murder. So you're talking about voter fraud. All of the voter frauds that was found last year was for Trump. Once again, it's time for you to go. And we're not going to get on alleged gangster Ken Paxton, because Ken Paxton was brought up on charges. I think I looked at it last week or the week before. It's about to be 6 years since his first charge came up. But at the same time, he still got reelected because people won't get off their butt to go vote for the local election. And then he have another charge pending for abusing his power. Being investigated by the FBI as we speak. And last month, I believe it was Harris County that said no. These charges on this fraud, financial fraud charges, are going to be moved back to Collin County. Collin County again. Remember what I said about Collin County? It haven't always been for everybody. Collin County, who is originally had the charge. And he been skipping around to these different courts trying to get it thrown out. But Harris County said, no, we sending it back to Collin County for you can stand trial. So, and then Ken Paxton also filed all these bogus lawsuits that he's now being investigated by the Bar Association of Texas. So, yeah, and they want him disbarred. Several attorneys had came up and said they want him disbarred for his action for filing all these bogus lawsuits, talking about election fraud. So it's time for a change. And Sid Miller been around way too long. It's time for a change for him too. The Board of Education. It's time for a change. Greg Abbott don't even want the real history of America taught in our schools. They want us to forget about it, want us to take it to our grave, but at the same time, it's our duty to make sure our kids and our grandkids, great grandkids, know about the history of America. And that's what we need to continue to do, teaching it to them. Because when you get clowns in office like this, they will make you forget about them. So we should always be teaching this to our kids. I seen some comments come in. I'm sorry, I'm on the road. Yeah, TK said, yeah, right. Show me the fraud. Talking about the voter fraud. It haven't been none. Said, oh, yeah, they can't. Exactly, they can't. At least none for Biden, they can't. But it was some for Trump. They can show those, but they don't want to discuss those. Marcella said, it's amazing to me how they stream fraud, but they are making laws to prevent others from voting. Oops. Look who's fraudulent. I'm just saying, I'm just putting the comments out here. This is what people feel. This is what is going on because they want to talk about voter fraud, want to stop voter fraud, but at the same time, you're doing voter suppression and you should be held accountable for it. I'm telling you, the next couple of years is going to be very important because we need to make sure we get out and vote and hold them accountable. Texas need a clean house when it comes down to our elected officials. We have some good ones, and then we have some have no business being there because the only thing they trying to do is get their pocket full, and that's it. Now, I know I said it several months back about the Texas may be getting casinos soon. Well, I seen a commercial or some ad said it wasn't voted on. It's not going to happen right now. Now, I'm wondering, you have two states surrounding us that have casinos. Why are you letting Texas money go to these other casinos? And that could be another stream of income to do better things in Texas. Pay our school teachers more money. Because I know a lot of school teachers that is not making the money that they should be making. We could pay the good policemen good money, the ones that is not going out here killing unarmed folks, or can't tell if a person is having a mental health crisis or if they are a threat. So let's talk about that. I know you're in Louisiana, and I'm not knocking Louisiana because back in the days I used to go all the time. Yeah, Marcella said we really appreciate y'all coming here as well. I appreciate it, but at some point, why is this money going to other states? Why we can't build up our state? Why we can't do more things here in Texas? Instead, you want to focus on voter suppression. You want to focus on building a wall that I feel would never happen. Because if you go back in history, they've been talking about this since the 1930s. The 1930s, and it still haven't happened. Probably been talking about it longer than that. Let's make marijuana legal. Oklahoma got it legal. Why we can't make it legal? No, okay. Marcelo, see, I haven't been in years. Honestly, we just got sports betting in here. We voted on it last election. You're not in a Streetport. I think you south of Streetport, ain't you? But I know down off of 40, think it's 49. It's a little truck stop I used to stop at back in the days. If I had to spend a night there or something, I used to go in there and play those machine, video poker machine. Could never win on them. Take my $10, go in there, I lose. I say, forget it, go to bed. But still, but they still have the casinos in Streetport, right? I haven't been there in years, um, but hopefully I would assume they still have them there. Cause they had quite a bit. Okay. Uh, so definitely, um, yeah, I feel like Texas need to make a change. It's time to make a change. And in order to make a change, we have to change the way that we think about things. We have to get leaders in there that's going to be for us and not for themselves. As for Greg Abbott, I never voted for the man. I felt like he was, uh, uh, they never was worth it. Yeah, we do. They just closed one. Which one they closed? Because, like I said, I haven't been there in years. Um, when I first started going, I used to go to, I'm not going to say their name. If they want to support us, they can reach out to me and I support their name. But yeah, but I used to go there, one of the biggest ones. I used to go there and um, me and the pit boss came very good friends. After I hit him on the head several times and okay, they closed Diamond Jack. I didn't really play there. I like the one across the street over there. But yeah, the one with the golden windows, the mirror windows. Yeah, that's where I used to play. And they would always give me rooms there. Back in the days when I used to go a lot. Room service. Um, I used to do pretty good back in the days. So um, this other story that is happened last year. Happened last year. Some of you may not have never heard of this story. Someone actually told me about it today, and I said, "What? Huh?" So I pulled it up and I said, "Oh." Man sues after allegedly being beaten by 7 LA County Sheriff deputies in Inglewood. This is from ABC 7. Uh, 7 deputies with the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department are being accused of beating a man who was left with serious injuries and is still suffering more than a year later. Attorney for Christopher Bailey on Monday announced a civil rights lawsuit against the department and the 7 deputies in the alleged May 2020 beating. Recently surfaced cell phone video of the aftermath of the incident shows Bailey being lifted into an ambulance with someone here saying he doesn't even look human. He sustained 64 to 86 total body and face hits. He was pummeled in the face approximately 35 to 44 times. Civil rights attorney Tony Jamila said during a news conference. Attorney representing Bailey said he was on his way home from work, a private company that sorts mail for the U.S. Postal Service, when he was pulled over for allegedly straddling the line in Inglewood around 2 a.m. They say Bailey did everything he was asked to do, but the police reports say he resisted arrest. Bailey attorneys say he was initially charged with 3 felony counts of resisting arrest, but those charges was later dropped. I was screaming out that I want to live. I really feared for my life. I thought I was going to die, Bailey said. Jamila said Bailey is now unable to see out of his left eye, adding that doctor said the punches to his eye were so severe that it dislodged the eyeball slightly. Bailey's teeth were also knocked down, and bones in his face was shattered. Mr. Bailey recalled that he heard deputies say, "Pull his pants down," and he could feel tugging in his pants, and he was tased in the lower abdomen near his groin area, Jamila said. The LA County Sheriff Department released the following statement. All use of force incidents which result in injury are unfortunate. Due to this pending legislation and under advice of counsel, we are unable to offer further detail at this time. Bailey attorneys say they want the 7 deputies involved in the alleged beating fired and charged with crimes. This was just a beatdown. This was a gang-like beatdown of a Black citizen, Jamil said. That was from ABC 7 out of I want to say it's LA or Inglewood. But when I read this story, first thing I thought about was Rodney King. Rodney King. That was the Rodney King incident of 2020. I hate to compare the two, but it's hard not to think about the beating that Rodney King took from those officers. And if I'm not mistaken, it was by LA County Sheriff. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was LAPD department. So March 7, 1991, Rodney King was beat near death. Which also, after those cops was found innocent, that's when the LA riots happened. In 92. That's why we need to hold these officers accountable. This man just got off work. They said he straddled the line. Okay. Maybe he was sleeping. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what the situation may have been. But does it take that? Do it take the fact that you nearly beat this man to death? And not only that, if you pull up Christopher Bailey, look at the pictures. Look at the way he looked after the beating and the way he looked, the way he should have looked. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it. It's not going to come in clear due to the fact my green screen. But face swole, bloody. Yeah, it's not going to come in clear. Face is swollen, bloody. And they trying to decide what should happen. Hopefully, the right people is on the jury and find those 7 officers guilty. They need to be brought up on charges. I read something, no, it was on a news was it Nightline? One of these news stations. They was talking about 43% of people that interact with police officer end up with emergency room visit. 43% of people. That comes out to about 83,000 people that is injured by policemen. Now, I'm not saying all wasn't justified. I'm talking about these bad cops, the cops that feel threatened because of the color of a person's skin. I'm talking about these cops. And I'm talking about the cops that automatically assume just because you're darker than them, you're guilty. They even showed the incident where this couple was at a hotel. And the cops was called for some reason. And the guy said something to the cop like, okay, we finna pack our stuff. They packing their stuff up. And the guy was like, why the F y'all still here? We finna pack up. We finna leave. They started to beat this couple. Same where they hit the young lady in the head with the baton. You see, those are the type of cops we need to hold accountable. But we also need to praise the ones that are doing right, that are doing the right thing. And unfortunately, most of the cops that do these type of things, they don't look like me. When it comes down to an assault by a police officer or an unarmed killing by a police officer, unfortunately, majority of the time it's somebody who don't look like me, but it's done to a person that looks like me. Those are the cops we need to hold accountable. Stop slapping them on the wrist and this will stop. It should be equal justice for everyone. For everyone. I don't care who you are. You do the crime, you do the time. But no police officer should be the judge and the jury. Now, it's completely different. If your life is in danger, yes, you need to defend yourself. But a lot of these cases we talk about is not the situation. A lot of the cases we talk about is from a person jumping up off the couch and getting shot twice in the chest, or a child playing with a water gun getting gunned down by a police officer, or hell, it could be anything, a traffic stop, and somebody end up coming up. You let them know that you have your LTC license. You hand the license to them along with your driving license, and then they ask if it's a gun in the car, and you say yes. And then seconds later, they turn around and murder you right in front of your child, not caring about your child in the back seat, nor your fiance in the front seat next to you. And you go off and murder a man. So these are the cops that we need to hold accountable instead of giving them a slap on the wrist. I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you are. You do wrong, you should do the time. For the ones that's tuning in for the night, I know a lot of you, I haven't been on in a week. So I appreciate y'all sticking in there. I'm feeling better. My counselor actually said, you know what, you may have to start taking you some time off. Every so often, take some days off and refresh, because you talk about a lot of stuff. You talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about, and it can mess with you. So, yes, you need to take some time off. So that's what I did this past week. I took some time off to free my mind, And I'm glad I did. It was wonderful. Um, but if you are new to the show, please don't be afraid to talk with us. We don't bite. Uh, whatever platform you're on, please like, subscribe. Let us know that you're here. Click the notification for whenever we come on. You can live chat with us during the live shows. So I appreciate y'all for coming in tonight. Tomorrow night, my day is going to be messed up this week. So tomorrow is Wednesday. So we'll be back on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, if the good Lord said the same. And don't forget about Thursday. Miss Risky will be in the house. I'm gonna tell y'all about Miss Risky. That's my little sister, because this whole time she been reaching out to me, making sure I'm okay, either sending me a text, hey, how you feeling today? I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. So I appreciate you, Miss Risky, if you're listening. I really do appreciate you. And so she will be here Thursday. She's working on some good stuff. And remember, we got to make up for last Thursday. So so we can't wait. So hopefully y'all stick with us. And so tomorrow night, if the good Lord say the same, I love each and every one of you. Until then, peace.